Hello, everybody. So, Transformers Age of the Primes is our next official Transformers storyline. And last night, they must have had an event somewhere. I think it was in China. I'm not fully sure. But we did get a lot of cool looks at a lot of new things. We've also had some, leaks that we now have good looks at. So, overall, this is going to be a lot of stuff. Plus, we also have a new collaborative line to look forward to. And on top of that, pipeline reveals for the second wave of Age of the Primes. So let's jump right into it with Solus Prime. One of our 13 primes. She is going to be a low deluxe class sized character, which is nice. I'm not a huge fan of the 13 primes, to be honest. I think they're cool, but they're not really for me. But hey, I'm glad those out there are going to get a chance to get nice, full-sized figures of these and not the little prime masters that were all we really had for a few years. She looks really good, really nice. I'm torn on this because I think it's a nice design. It's obviously a female character. It's rare to see those done so well. But on the other hand, I just can't be bothered. But she does look good, and she does come with a big hammer. Next up is Prima, the guy that wields the Star Saber. Now, we did get some looks at this with, some orangey and gray prototype colors, but here's our first official look. And I mean, he looks good, but he's a bit boring. Honestly, the only reason I picked this up is to get the Star Saber, but I'm not paying for a full figure just to get one measly accessory. But hey, I mean, he looks good. And once again, really the only other toy we had of Prima up to this point was the Titan Master, so it's nice to get a full-size toy. Next up, to continue the fantastic updates we've been getting on the Transformers Armada toys, Armada Red Alert. He looks good, really nice. However, I don't have the photo, I think. Yep, I don't have the photo. However, the first time I saw this, it was like a mock news article, and it said Red Alert found dead in Miami. I don't know where that came from. I just thought it was funny. I'm just sad I don't have the photo anymore. Anyways, next up, Fugitive Wasp. Now, this is some wish fulfilling. Basically, what happened was in the original Transformers Animated, the character of Wasp was a clone of Bumblebee who was falsely accused and kind of went crazy before becoming much more in line with his Beast Wars Waspinator counterpart. However, that first version of Waspinator, where he's more like Bumblebee, never got an official toy. However, now that the Legacy United Bumblebee mold came out for Animated, we're getting a Wasp, which is nice. Personally, I'm not going to pick this up because I didn't really like Wasp or Waspinator from Animated. I mean, he's cool and all, but I'm much more in love with the Space Bridge Repair crew that makes up the main cast of the show. And Hasbro, if you're listening, please make a core class. Sorry, Sumdac, so we can have, the whole gang. Next up, we got some Aerobots. I'm going to be honest, I don't remember these guys' names. So if you know, let me know, because I don't. So we got this red and white Aerobot here. He looks nice. He makes a plane, I guess. I don't know. If you can't tell, Superion is not my favorite combiner. I think his Combiner Wars toy is cool. Something I'm definitely thinking about getting at some point. But it's not a major priority. You also have his buddy, I guess. This white one here. He looks good. But this is what I've been excited for. Star Convoy, our Titan class for Age of the Primes. This is mind-shattering because, really, Star Convoy has only had 3 toys in the history of this franchise. The first one from, the 90s. The second one, which was a terrible retool of the Power of the Primes, the Optimus Prime. And this one, which is a ground-up, brand new, from scratch, retool of, not even retool, it's actually just a brand new mold. I mean, look at it. It looks so good. And we also apparently already had the full instructions leaked. So this is the design that we're going to see for the Age of the Instructions panels or whatever. And again, he looks so good. I can't stress how good this is. And for those of you who don't know Star Convoy, he's essentially just super Japanese Optimus Prime. That's the best way I can explain it. I think his design is really, really cool. And I mean, God damn, this toy looks fantastic. And he does the 3 modes thing. He does the weird truck mode with the triangular piece above the cab. He does the super cool robot mode and the base mode that barely qualifies as a base. And what's even cooler still is he includes Micromaster Rodimus Prime and the little trailer. Yeah, when Star Convoy released, the whole thing in Japan was like Micromasters, tiny Transformers, and Star Convoy came packed with a tiny Rodimus, which was so cool, and I'm so happy that they did include him and didn't leave it to like upgrade companies. They made a new Rodimus Micromaster, which is super awesome. Then we got our first look at Silverbolt, the leader of the Aerobots. And this guy's interesting. So he's following the Motor Master style of combiner, where you have an on-scramble city combiner who has a torso robot and then extra additional pieces that form the limbs, and then the additional members that form the legs and arms just plug into the skeleton. So yeah, it's interesting. And as you can see here, he can form his own like semi-Superion mode, and the other 2 aerial bots that we were shown off earlier can attach to this, to make Superion. What's cool is that Silverbolt himself works completely fine on his own without the extra transformation kibble, yet because they needed a place to put it, you can actually form 2 different jet modes here. You can form one jet mode with just Silverbolt, or a second jet mode that is a full combination of all the parts in the set, which is nice. But I'm skipping this because I don't care about Superion. I've already said this. But hey, it's nice that we're getting another combiner so soon after Menasor. And in case you're wondering the size comparison between Star Convoy and Superion, here you go. Notably, also it has been rumored that Titans will be going slightly cheaper. I think it's around 150 now, not the 200 that we last saw with Tidal Wave. So this is going to be really cool. Commanders are still going to be the same price, but hey, it's nice that Titans are getting slightly cheaped out. Then, this was that collab I was talking about, Sonic. We're getting a Sonic Transformers, which is such a surreal thing to say. As you can see here, you get 2. You get one based off Tails and one based off Sonic. The one based off Tails is known as Wingtail and transforms into Tails' iconic plane, the Tornado. And I was discussing this earlier, and apparently the reason they just don't call it Tornado is because you can't trademark Tornado, apparently. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds true enough, so I'm going to go with it. And Sonic here is named Blue Booster and is actually inspired after his car from the Sonic racing games, which is super cool because that was like a major part of when I was younger in my childhood. So it's really cool, and this is like really speaking to me. Now, from what I can tell, Tails is a completely original mold. However, Sonic may potentially be reusing parts and elements from the Earthrise Wheeljack mold. I feel this is an important thing to discuss with collaborative figures because it's always unique seeing what comes from where. But yeah, they look incredibly, incredibly good together. And here's a look at our packaging. And here's one thing that I didn't really have photos for. It's Grimlock. It's the 86 liter, but in blue. That's about it. Megatronus, which we already saw from the 1027 stream a few months back, as well as the boxes for Prime and Silverbolt. Then, for our Voyager classes, we have Prima and Red Alert. And then, in the Deluxe class, we have our 2 Aerobots, Wasp and Solus. And that's it. I'm sorry, Pipeline reveals. Pipeline. So, in case you don't know what Pipeline is, I don't think I've ever explained this before, but it's essentially a look towards, hey, this is what we're making in the future. And so, we got Onyx Prime. Now, I'm going to be honest. Onyx Prime is a nothing character to me. However, his design is super cool. So, I might pick this up just because the design is awesome. And I just hope the toy isn't that bad, but we have to wait to see more about how this figure turns out. And we also have another combiner coming. This is Vortex from the Combaticons, where, once again, this will also be following the Menasor style, the Menasor and now Superion style of Skeleton where the additional limb members just attach onto a skeleton. So I can't wait to see how they handle Onslaught, because like Motormaster, it was pretty obvious. Trailer becomes skeleton, Cab becomes robot. But Onslaught and Superion, Silverbolt, are unique because, well, they don't really have trailers, it's not obvious what's going to make up their skeletons. So I suspect it may end up being like the back half of Onslaught is purely skeleton, the front half is what makes the figure. Sort of like Robots in Disguise 2001 Optimus Prime. I'm not sure though. Same thing with Defensor. And lastly, this is what I'm excited for. Heatwave! I love Rescue Bots, so it's so awesome seeing Heatwave back. And I can actually tell you what mold this is going to be based off this concept art. It is based on, this mold is going to be used from the Legacy Year 1 Bulkhead mold. So if you're a scale nut, like I partially am sometimes, this does not scale with the Legacy United Chase. However, it's also going to be a damn good figure because the Bulkhead was already a good figure, so it's like inversely Heatwave is going to be good. And honestly, based off this concept art, he does look good. Now, I could be nitpicky. I could say, oh, he has fake headlights on his arm when his real headlights are right there. That's not how it works in the show. Because in case you're wondering, between his grill, makes up his abs, and then his headlights and those little, what look like knuckles. Hey, no, those are his actual knuckles in the series. Rescue Bots was very simplistic, so, that's why it looked like that. But hey, he looks good. And I could also nitpick things like the tire on his shoulder should be down, on his forearms. Because Bulkhead was a 6-wheeled vehicle, Heatwave is also going to be a 6-wheeled vehicle. Heatwave should only be a 4-wheel vehicle. I could go into depth about how this isn't the most dead accurate to Heatwave, but on the other hand, it's Rescue Bots. This is this is crazy, and I can't wait to see the other Rescue Bots, mainly Blades and Boulder to complete the original 4, but a quick Shadow, Salvage, and trying to think of the guy's name, High Tide would be nice, because then you'd have basically everybody. I know Medics was a Rescue Bots character, but I don't think he was ever in the show. And then that's the end. Let me catch my breath for a second. So yeah, this is a lot of stuff. However, if you can't tell, for the most part, Age of the Primes is not going to be a toy line that I'm going to be checking into all that often. I'm going to be keeping up with it every now and again. I'm definitely getting the Heatwave. But most of these other things I can skip out on. Don't get me wrong, Heatwave, super nice. Onyx, I'm going to buy because it looks sick. Star Convoy, it's another one where it's just he looks super sick. But everything else, I can quite honestly skip. Yeah, it would be cool to finally have the Grimlock mold, but I don't like blue Grimlock. I prefer him when he's gray, Oh, and it would be wrong of me to not mention that the gray is inspired by his G2 color scheme. Just gonna put that out there. Which is weird, because previously we also had a G2 Grimlock, but that one was yellow, because G2 was weird. Anyways, but yeah, Sonic and Tails. This is one that I am probably gonna pick up, but it's not Age of the Primes related, so it doesn't count. Yeah. Otherwise, Age of the Primes is kind of boring to me. I don't know, it just doesn't do as much as Legacy United did. It didn't bring back what I cared about, It didn't bring back the characters I want. Age of the Primes is just not doing that for me, so I can skip it. Also, yes, I totally believe we're going to get more Sonic collabs. Characters I'd personally like to see just because, well, come on, is everybody, but I know that's a little unrealistic, so I expect maybe the ones that have been done, the Lego sets, so not Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, Amy, Rouge the Bat, and Metal Sonic, maybe. I don't know. They could do an Eggman just to make like Metal Sonic and Eggman a 2-pack. Do like Rouge and Shadow as a 2-pack because those two occasionally have a thing going on. And then Knuckles and Amy as a counterpoint to this, so that way you can complete like the main 4 in Sonic. It would also be cool to see the other characters like Silver, Blaze, Cream the Rabbit, so on. But I just don't expect those because they're less popular. But yeah, this is interesting. Also, this is one of the first times ever that we've actually had a instruction manual leaked. So like, you can see Star Convoy himself is a relatively simple transformer, it looks like. But that's just the nature of the design. It doesn't change much between robot and car, you know. But then again, neither do the rescue bots yet. Their toys are shockingly going to be complex. Well, one's already complex and one's going to be complex. But yeah, let me know what y'all thought of Age of the Primes down below. What you're picking up, what you're skipping. If you also know the name of those 2 Aerobots, let me know because I don't remember. And I will see you all next time when we hopefully have official looks at that Heat Wave and the others.